Hey guys, Lauren Minard here, your lender for life. Sorry it's been a while since my last video earlier this year. You guys have just kicked my butt this summer and fall, doing a lot of great refinances with our low rates. So I really appreciate it, but again, very sorry it's been a while. I know these videos are very helpful. I've gotten a lot of great feedback and asking people for me to do them again, so I will try to be more consistent. Now, the last few videos I did, I was covering categories of credits that makes up your credit scores. We already went over the first two, which was payment history and utilization, and now I want to go over the third, which is our credit history. It makes up 15% of your credit scores. Now, it's less important than the previous ones, definitely, because it's a little bit lower than those, but it still matters because it's a good indicator of how well you manage your credit over a period of time. The history is pretty much your reputation of being a good or bad consumer of credit. The longer the history, obviously, the better. So when considering length of credit that make up this 50% of your scores, the bureaus are looking for pretty much two things. The first one is the age of the oldest active account. And now I have active underlined because if you actually close an account, you lose all the history of it. So it has to be active. Do not close out those old accounts. All that history is taken away and you're left with just what's open. So I have a credit card from before I even went to college that the interest rate is horrendous on it, don't get me wrong, but I'm keeping it open because it's by far my oldest credit card. Now, it's not something I use on a daily basis. I may fill up a tank of gas and then pay it off, but enough to keep it active and to keep that good history with it. The second thing that the bureaus are going to be looking at is average age of all of your accounts. So you have a bunch of new credit cards, it's actually going to be negatively affecting your credit. You want to have as much history as possible. So again, don't close out the old ones and hopefully keep the new ones to a minimum. That being said, you can have high credit scores with short history as long as every other factor that makes up your scores are positive. But then again, when you have a bunch of new credit cards, you're not really going to have much payment history, probably not going to have much utilization. So it's possible, but it's rare. And this is why a lot of college students that I come across either don't have any scores or have very low scores because they get out of college, realize, oh, what is this credit? Go pull a couple credit cards. And so great, you have credit, but it's all brand new. You have no history, so your scores are going to be very low. Now, most people will kind of say, buck it up. You're going to have to open a bunch of credit cards and just wait till you get that history. I actually have kind of a little trick that can automatically add a bunch of history and bump up your scores immediately. This is kind of my first trick I go to with everyone. You can actually add yourself to someone else's accounts. So maybe your mom or dad's credit card or a car loan of your significant other. As soon as you add it to your credit, all that payment history they have with that card or that loan is added to your credit scores. It's huge. It can really bump up your scores immediately. Now, huge caution with this. Now that you are part of this loan or this credit card, you are a co-signer. So you are now responsible for the payments of that card. So you can go rack up a bunch of credit, the other person can rack up a bunch of credit. No matter what, you're going to be responsible for that credit. So I have some people that, hey, mom, dad, can you add me to your credit card so I can get your history? I've had a lot of people that are hesitant because I don't want them to go rack it up and ruin my credit. So definitely take that into consideration when you're adding anybody to someone else's loan or credit card. But by far, that is something that can bump you up immediately. And also being said, make sure you're adding yourself to something that does have good history. The last thing you want to do is add a credit card to yours, get all that history, and it starts negatively affecting your scores. Not very good. So that's the length of credit history. Let me know if you guys have any questions at all, and we will go ahead and move on to the next one, which is new credit next time, and I'll see you then.